Welcome back to Tokyo, welcome back to the Tokyo Bar 23 sneaker channel, and welcome to another Off-White sneaker review. I'm here in Tokyo bringing you daily content. Every single day I try and check in with the video, and I'm keeping it going and pushing it forward daily for you guys there to get your sneaker information. And today what I'm bringing you is the Nike Air Max 90 Off-White, Desert Ore and Black. As I said in the introduction, today it's all about those Air Max 90s, the Off-White collaboration. A phenomenal sneaker. The Air Max 90s are popping right now. Off-White is popping right now. Put the two together and you get a banger of a sneaker. Not one, but two of them. The Desert Ore and the Black colorways. I'm Tokyo Bar 23 and I do bring you that daily content, and we're getting closer and closer. We're within touching distance of that 100 subscriber mark that I've been pushing for these last couple of months, and it's only been a couple of months that we've had this channel going and I've been bringing you these daily reviews, and we're edging up towards that 100 subscriber mark. So hit that subscribe button down below if you appreciate daily content. And make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that you catch tomorrow's review. What's it gonna be? Nike Air Jordan 2's Black History Month. But nobody's seen them, so how can I review them? Hit the subscribe button today, hit the notification bell today, and then check in tomorrow to see my review of that not yet seen sneaker. Now before we get into these Nike Air Max 90 Off-White sneakers, I just want to have one quick shout out to one person who follows my channel, and that's Nigel. Nigel is a huge Nike head. He loves his Nike sneakers, and on top of that, he loves his Off-White collaboration. A couple of weeks ago he sent me a photograph of some Off-White Nike sneakers that he managed to cop, and they were banging, and I am sure that Nigel is definitely going to try and cop these bad boys when they drop. So Nigel, this one's for you out there, buddy. I hope you appreciate the content, and I hope you have luck getting your hands on these sneakers. And speaking of sneakers, yesterday we dropped a massive video on what I predicted was the sneaker of the year for 2019. That's an incredible claim given that we're only in week 2 and there's still 50 weeks of the year to go, but I'm staking that claim right now. And then tomorrow we've got those Black History Month Air Jordan 2s, and right in the middle of that you've got these Air Max 90 Off-Whites. It's an incredible run of 3 sneakers, and I'm hoping that all 3 will do well on the channel. So make sure you click, make sure you watch, and make sure you subscribe to keep up with this daily awesome content. Without further ado, let's get into these Nike Air Max 90 Off-Whites. So there are 2 colorways that are dropping, and one of them is the Desert Ore Hyper Jade Bright Crimson colorway. And then the second of the 2 colorways coming with this Nike Air Max 90 Off-White collaboration is the Black. And we're going to have a look at both of those sneakers today. A few similarities between the 2 of them, and then a couple of them are different for the colorways. One for the Desert Ore and one for the Black, and we'll look at those differences and those similarities. Now the first place that I want to look at is the stitching. Off-White stitching is distinctive. It's very visible, and they're large stitches, if I can say that, across and back and across and back across the sneaker where the panels meet. Now the stitching in these sneakers in the Air Max 90s is most evident in the Desert Ore. If you have a look at the Desert Ore where the panels join together and where the stitching, especially in the toe box, is evident, you can really see the thread pop. But if you have a look at the Black version, you see that the black thread really kind of just melds in with the background and with the materials on the upper, and it's hard to actually see that distinctive large stitching pattern. Another place where the Off-White stitching is evident is on those swooshes. Now in the Desert Ore version, the swoosh is a bright crimson color, and with that stitching all the way around the Nike swoosh, it really pops out of the sneaker. On the Black version, the swoosh is actually just a plain white color. So whereas you've got the Desert Ore with that really bright crimson pop and swoosh, on the Black version you've just got a white swoosh. But I think that works. I think the Desert Ores are meant to be colorful and popping, and the Blacks are meant to be sort of subtle and your standard sneaker in a way. And then sticking with the Off-White themes, and a staple of the Off-White line is branding. Now on the medial side of these Nike Air Max 90s, you can see that branding in the big block text box of Off-White branding on the medial side. But usually on the lateral side of the sneakers, down near the heel, usually on the midsole, there'll be branding in speech marks. And I think it's kind of significant that this time in these Air Max 90s, the branding isn't there. And it's one of the first times, I think it's the first time I've seen an Off-White sneaker without the heel branding on the midsole. But the branding is evident as it usually is, perhaps always is, on off-white sneakers on the end of the shoelaces, where you can see the word shoelaces in speech marks. And then moving further up on the sneaker, another staple of the off-white line is that enlarged tongue, and the edge of that tongue is sort of flayed and expanded out a little bit so that you've got to look inside the materials of the tongue and you can kind of see the materials within the tongue a little bit, which is a staple of the off-white line. And also a staple is that you take the label on the top of the tongue and you move it around a little bit onto the side of tongue. And then if we take the top point as the top of the tongue with that enlarged off-white tongue and we move back a little bit in the sneaker, you get to the top line. And if you look at the top line, it's exactly the same effect as the tongue with that sort of enlarged effect, that kind of expanded out bit where you can see into the materials on the inner of the tongue. It's almost like they haven't finished the stitching. Usually on sneakers, the top line and the area around the edge of the tongue has been sewn off and stitched into a tight sort of knit. But in the case of off-whites, you rarely see that. And in the case of these Air Max 90s, that top line is most definitely an off-white top line. Then if we step back and take a look at the sneaker as a whole and look at the materials of the upper as a whole, it's unbelievable that there are 4 materials working together to bring you these sneakers. You've got textile, you've got suede, you've got leather, and you've got mesh, all working across the upper of this sneaker, all those materials working together to bring you an absolute banging sneaker. And that goes for the black sneakers and the Desert Ore. Both of them look really, really good, even though there's 4 materials in play. And one final thing to have a look at is the outsole on the Desert Ore version, which is the Desert Ore colorway. So you've got that whole sneaker vibe of Desert Ore in the Desert Ore version, and then the black and white simplified version for the blacks. And they're both amazing sneakers and they both look phenomenal. And Nigel, I hope you get your hands on a pair. I will definitely be hitting up the sneakers app out there trying to get my hands on one or both of these sneakers. And that's it for today. Thanks for checking in out there. I really appreciate you guys. Subscribers, big shout out to you guys. You're edging us ever closer to that 100 subscriber mark. If you can subscribe, I super appreciate it. And get this Tokyo Butter 23 channel up to 3 digits. I would really appreciate it if you can get us to that point. So bang that subscription button and hit that notification bell if you want to stay current with my daily content. Tomorrow, remember, it's going to be the Air Jordan 2's Black History Months, and I have a sneaking suspicion that the Air Jordan 2 could be the next sneaker to pop. Check in tomorrow to hear me reviewing that sneaker and to hear my take on the Air Jordan 2's Black History Months. But for now, after reviewing the Air Max 90 Off-White collaboration, Desert Ore and Black, this is Tokyo Butter 23 saying farewell from Japan. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for checking in today, guys. I really appreciate your being here and viewing my content. Over here, we have the channel subscribe button. Channel登録ぜひお願いします. Over here, we have the video I recommend you watch next. こちらはおすすめです. And up here, we have a link to the channel introduction video. こちらはチャンネルのプロフィールのvideoです. Check them out. Clicking on them really helps the channel.